In this video, we're gonna go hands-on with iOS 15, and I'm gonna show you some of the new features that I was able to check out so far and talk about some of the ones that Apple announced at WWDC 2021. And so we'll start off with some of the updates that they talked about first with FaceTime. SharePlay is a new feature that Apple announced where if you're in a group chat or even with just another person, if you're on a FaceTime call and you wanna watch or listen to music or even share your screen, you can do so now inside of FaceTime. Unfortunately, I can't show you exactly how it works. So I can show you here that if I do go into FaceTime, as you see here at the top right corner, there is a share my screen option. I'm assuming that's where sharing for video and audio will be located as well. But as of right now, that's just not something that I think is available. We looked around in settings and couldn't find it, so just might not be ready yet. But it is a cool concept if you want to watch a TV show or if you want to listen to an album with your friends and they might be further away, or if you're just trying to do some social distancing. Yeah, you can do that now with this latest update. There's also a new view if you have more than a few people inside of your group chat. You can have a new grid view, so your tiles of people are located in grid view. And there's also spatial audio. I didn't get a chance to show that either, and that's not something you can really hear for yourself through this video, but if you get a chance to test it out, if you have people in grid view, they will the spatial audio will kind of work based off of where they're located on your screen, not necessarily tied to grid view, but just in general, wherever those tiles are of those people on your screen, the spatial audio will kind of reflect their position on the screen, which is kind of cool. And there is a new portrait mode for video while you're on a call. So like think of Zoom and how you can get that blurred background, but this is much more natural. It's a much more of a subtle effect. And I really think it looks pretty good. It does a good job of blurring the background out, not necessarily getting me blurred, but definitely doing a good job of subtly blurring out the background so that the attention is focused more on you. There are also different mic modes available. So if you are in a FaceTime call, as you can see here, and then if I scroll down, you see mic mode. Right now, by default, it's on standard, but there's voice isolation, which is exactly what you think it is. It kind of gets rid of all the background noise and makes your voice front and center. And then there's wide spectrum. So if you're at a concert or something and you want somebody to hear what is going on in the background instead of you can actually amplify that even further. So you kind of get both ends of the spectrum. Inside of the Messages app, we have two new features that are worth talking about. The first one is actually not necessarily directly in the Messages app, but it's tied to the messages that you get, and that's called Shared with You. So if somebody sends you a link to a story somewhere, even if it's in the News app or if it's Apple TV or Apple Music, I'm assuming this will open up the third-party developers, but I don't know right now. But it works pretty well. You get links in your messages and inside of those corresponding apps. So like in Safari here, you can see I have links sent to me in previous conversations. It already populated and I can click on those links that were sent to me. I don't have to go digging through conversations. Same things with music recommendations and TV, etc. Another cool feature is the way we view photos in conversations. It's called photo collections. And if somebody sends you or if you send them a whole bunch of photos, they're in a stacked view and I can swipe through that stack and look through the photos, no problem. Or I can click on this little grid view and see them all, at one time and then kind of fine tune what I want. I can save them all with one tap, or I can select which specific photos I want to save to my camera roll. And I think this is much needed for photos because I share a lot of photos between my wife and I, and as you can see here, there's a bunch of the same photos and I don't need to save them all and then pick which ones I like and then delete. You can just save one specifically or all at one quick glance, and I really like that. There's also a new focus mode, which ties in to do not disturb. And so you can choose between different modes here. If I open up Control Center, this is the easiest way. It's actually where do not disturb is. I have that currently on right now, but if I do a long press on it, you'll see sleep, personal, and work. And then you can run through a setup for each one of those, or you can create your own focus mode. If you haven't done so already, it'll ask you to create a new focus mode, or you can tap here at the bottom where it says new focus and I can create a new one. So here you can see what do you want to focus on, and there's already some pre-made options for driving, fitness, gaming, and reading. And then of course, like I said, you can make a custom focus mode. And what it does is it will eliminate any distractions. Time-sensitive notifications will be coming through, but essentially all the other non-important notifications won't be bothering you throughout that specific time period in which you have focus scheduled or turned on. And then later on, when you turn it off, you'll be able to catch up on those notifications. And speaking of catching up, we're going to talk about a new notification feature in just a minute. But before we end this focus section, I do want to talk about what happens when somebody sends you a message. It actually reminds me a lot of Slack. When you send a message and somebody has, that snooze notifications on, it'll say at the bottom that they are snoozing their notifications, they are away, and they won't get it. But you can actually send a notification to them anyways if it's urgent. All right, now going back into notifications. Notifications have been redesigned. There's some slight improvements. There's a larger icons and there's contact photos now available for notifications, and they just seem like slimmer and rounder to me. I actually really like the new look. It's not taking up as much room, and they're able to fit more notification bubbles in your lock screen and on your notification center. But the newest thing is notification summary, and you can set this as a schedule. You can customize the whole thing, which apps are going to be limited to this, and basically in the mornings and at nights. So if I wake up at 8 a.m., I can set and get all my notifications from last night or whenever I went to bed or whenever I just didn't look at my phone. All of those will be scheduled, and I can catch up as a notification summary the next day. Or also during work, all of those notifications that are not important, not time sensitive, or within the app constrictions that you set, you will be able to catch up later after work and just not be distracted by your phone. And I really like those settings, and I look forward to actually using those more and more each day while I test this beta. The Maps app has added a few cool features. For one, there is a new city experience with 3D models of landmarks. So here I'm looking at the Golden Gate Bridge, and as you can see, it's a really cool 3D look. You can change to 2D, as you can see in the right corner, but I like this 3D look, and it makes for driving directions to be far more detailed. There's new driving features with turn lanes, crosswalks, and bike lanes, and there's just far more detail. You ever have that issue when you're driving and you're like, okay, I see that I have to get off at this exit, but which lane is that? Or there's multiple exits that you can get off of and it tells you, but like, you're kind of confused by the text and you don't know where to go. This makes it way more clear on which lane you need to be in and where you need to go, and I really like that. And it will be coming to CarPlay later this year. Safari also received quite an update, definitely in macOS and iPadOS. We'll talk about that more, but there's some new features here for iOS, which is really cool, like the new tab bar at the bottom and your navigation bar. It's all one, and it's at the bottom where your thumb naturally rests. So you no longer have to go to the top to enter in a new website that you want to go to, add some more tabs, etc. It's all at the bottom. And the cool thing is you can now swipe between your tabs. Think of like swiping at the bottom with your thumb to go between your apps. You can do that with the tabs that you have open in Safari. Just swipe on that navigation bar and you'll go through them. And also, Apple introduced a new tab category, tab groups that you can add on your Mac. Now you can do that as well on iPadOS and iOS. And so here we have a group that I created with just random tabs, but you can make them more specific to whatever category or genre of tabs that you want. And it just makes it so much easier to browse and have all your tabs kind of in organized chaos. And then there's also extensions now available for iOS. So if you're maybe thinking about an ad blocker, or if you use an extension on Safari on your Mac that's crucial and you really wish you can get it on your iPhone, you can actually do so now and download those in the App Store inside of iOS 15. One thing that I can't show, and I don't know exactly when it's going to come to every state, but I'm really excited about this because I want to eliminate my wallet. My card no longer takes a key, which is cool, and more cars will be available to start no longer taking a key because Apple has implemented a way to add a key card for your car, for your home, for your garage, for any compatible device in the future that will take advantage of this inside of Wallet. And you can add driver's license in select states as of right now, which is really cool. And the TSA will actually be one of the first to take that as a legitimate form of ID. There's also a new live text feature, and you can do this with photos that you've already taken or just by opening up your camera and pointing it at something that might be, having some text that you want want to select, highlight, and then copy that text, and you can send it off in an email. You can, if it's a phone number in the background, they use this as an example, you can act on that phone number. So say there's a sign in the background, it's got a phone number, it'll identify it, you can select it, and you can copy that and paste it into your app or call or act on it. You know, like I said, photos and within the camera app while you're using it. And there's also live text translation as well. So if you have a recipe from a different language, you can get that translated really easily by using this live text feature. And also you can use it for visual lookup. So if you have a pet at home and you're unsure of the breed of dog per se, you can point your phone at it and it will give you more information about nature, landmarks like your pets, as I just mentioned, books, etc. Spotlight also received a quick update with some new rich results and photo search capabilities. So now I can search within the Photos app within Spotlight, which is nice. And you can, once you get photos kind of added as what you're looking for within Spotlight, then you can start adding keywords like concerts, and I can see all of that without actually having to go into the Photos app. Or if there's a celebrity that you want to look up or a specific contact for a person, you'll get all of that information with way more information, as you can see, compared to iOS 14, specifically with celebrities. And finally, there were a couple of things that Apple touched on with privacy, one being the app privacy report, which will basically tell you every time an app has made contact with your microphone or your camera and how often it's doing it and tracking information. And it'll give you that report with every app that you have installed and when it's making contact and what it's doing in the background. So it's nice. You can take further control of privacy. Apple's really stepping up in that category. They have been for a few years now, and they're just continuing to build upon that. And also, they've announced that Siri audio no longer leaves your device. It actually doesn't require internet connection for certain things, so tasks are just faster, and you can perform them faster than you could on iOS 14. And that was just a few of the things that they announced and they touched on and some of the major features that they're advertising, but there's a ton of other little quality of life changes that maybe they didn't introduce, or maybe you might not think is a big deal, but it really could impact the way you use your phone. And we're gonna go over kind of a hidden feature, things they didn't announce type video for iOS 15, for iPadOS 15, and for macOS. And of course, we'll be touching on the major features for those videos later this week. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those videos. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.